Shabbat Shalom, my family. I was really missing you. Today, it's very special meeting. You know that on Sunday, the 25th of September, our Rosh Hashanah holiday gonna start, the Jewish New Year. You know, most of the time we are celebrating the tradition New Year and the 31 of December. Most of the time we are celebrating with all the world, the 31 to the 1st of January. You know, that very interesting moment that I understood that in this year something is different. Most of the time God was giving me a word about the new year before December, for the new year that's coming. But not too long ago I was alone with God. And God started to tell me very interesting things. We are living here, but the Spirit is living in us. We are people that living in our bodies, but we are living in the Spirit. I really liked this status. I was thinking, wow, how cool. We are always thinking how we understand God, how we see Him. But actually, it's very important to know what God thinking about us in the eyes of God. We are the sons, the kids of God. We having His Spirit. And our function was to move His Spirit here in the land. And God showed me something very special here, that our spirit also should not to stand in the same place, but to move. We should move in the times and in places, like Him. And you know, we set our time. Even saw a vision, how a person stuck in the watch, and wherever the arrow is moving, the person is moving with the arrow of the watch, of the time. And some people really stuck inside this box of time, of watch that we set it. We're living by the time that we set. But we also have the calendar that we are living by, from the January to December, what we used to live by. And God showing me that there is time, another calendar of the heaven, the time of the heaven. God has one day as 1,000 days, years. Imagine the difference between our time and between His time. How big difference. For us it's 1,000 days, for Him is one day. Imagine how different we have here. But we got used to go by our calendar of the people. And in the last years, God told me that we should live as a spiritual people by the time of Him. And each of us should know how to do it. We need to learn to influence on the time. Not to give to the time to influence us. Can you understand what I'm talking about? The same the calendar. God showed me. He said me a word. We're going to talk about prophetic things and we're going to act prophetic today. I really like to share those things. It's my favorite thing. God showed me, told me that we are going now by the Jewish calendar this year. Most of the time it's in September. And we are going on the time Israel is always the first. And now, especially in this year, God gave his here like an accent. This year, we're going to celebrate the New Year before all the world, in the time of Israel. This year, the Rosh Hashanah, the holiday of the Jewish new calendar, starting on the 23rd of September. Israel is always as the light of the world, should be the first to show and to give the world to the body of the Christ in the world. wherever we are moving. And we are going into to this new year that's coming, this year 2023. I will share with you also one vision that God showed me. I'm not sharing you a lot of my visions, not because I don't have them, it's just I'm not sharing them all. With this vision, I got some acceptance from God to share it with you. God was talking with me about this spiritual body that we want to have. And in the same time, when I said to God that I want to have this kind of spirit, I felt like my body is staying here on the land and my spirit is going out. And I found myself in a big garden. And I saw just one kind of trees there. It was full of trees of pomegranate. Very big garden, but just this kind of fruit. I was really surprised. Everything is so red, juicy, like no fruits that they are just growing right now, but really like red and big. The trees almost broke because they were so heavy, and God told me, take one. And I remember it was just one. And on the tree, as a Jewish, we want to take more and more. I was thinking, what is the best, the biggest and the most red here? And I took one of these pomegranate. At the time when I took this fruit to my hand, I found myself back in my body. I even felt the smell of these trees, of this garden. I cannot even explain you the smell of this. It was amazing smell. Something really that I cannot convince with nothing else, compare. And when I took this fruit, God told me that the symbol of this year, the new year that we are coming into now, the prophetic symbol is pomegranate. As you got this fruit, give it to the church, he said to me. That this is the prophetic symbol of this year. And pomegranate is a symbol of abundance. This year is a year of abundance. Give the praise to the Lord. Every year we are getting some prophetic word for the new year from God. It was always on December, before the new year. But this time we are going before all the world. And there is a reason why the Jewish calendar is starting on September, before everyone else. And at the moment when I got the pomegranate and the word from God, God led me to Isaiah 33, sentence number 6. Because the word abundance, it's very common. We need to know abundance of what? I'm sure each of us thought that now is like something that he doesn't have enough right now. But God gave me exactly what abundance of what we're going to have in this year. So Isaiah 33:6. And those words in those sentences are talking to the sons and the daughters of God, not to all the world, just to the church of God. So sentence number 6. He will be the sure foundation for your times, a rich store of salvation and wisdom and knowledge, the fear of the Lord in the key to this treasure. So here we can see abundance of what? Of salvation, abundance of wisdom and knowledge, those three. But the next sentence says that the base of all those three is the fear of God. It is like our treasure. It's something that we will really appreciate, and it's gonna be very rich for us, wealthy. And then God showed me one more places, and I want to share with you where we are going, what season. As a prophetic church, we must know where we are, what season we are going in, and what times are waiting for us, especially if we want to lead people in this world to the time of God. And then God showed me what was the last 6 years. I started to analyze what we had in the last 6 years. So look, we had really special 6 years. Every year was special with words from God for each year. The prophetic first year started in 2017. Look now what my mind is seeing here. 2017 was the spiritual revolution. 2018, the year of prophets and the apostles, as you remember. 2019 was the year of harvest. 2020 was the year of supernatural. 2021 was spiritual awakening. And the year of now, 2022, is the cover of Yanoch. And the next year, 2023, God said that is the year of abundance, the 7th year after all those 6. Here are all those 7 years. It was 7 years season that each year we really got and build something. God showed me that the 7th year of abundance, all those years were 7 good years. In the book of Genesis, chapter 41, sentence 29, it says, 7 years of great abundance are coming. All those last 6 years and the next one, the 7th one, those were the 7 abundance years. The next one is coming, the last. Those were the 7 good years that God showed me. That this is the prophetic word, like Pharaoh saw the dream and Joseph showed him what this dream was meaning. 7 good years and then 7 bad, hungered years. And what Joseph said to Pharaoh that he should do? He said to him, 7 years collect for you to have a lot of bread, a lot of everything. And whenever it's gonna be hunger in all the land, the only place where it was possible to get some food, it was Egypt. And this is why all the people around the world came to Joseph, to Egypt, for to buy bread and food from him, for not to die from hunger. We will not talk about this, I'm sure you remember this and you know, but I want to talk about this right now. That the same God showing that we had those, now is the 7 last year, it was 7 good years that we collected in our spirit a lot of bread of life, a lot of Jesus. We took things from the heaven, we got information, we got revelations, and now this is the last year that we should take and to collect, like in this garden that I saw the pomegranate tree. We have to take as more as we can things from the heaven that God is giving us to our spirit. We should to grow. We have to be strong and full, because whenever it's gonna be 7 hunger years, I'm talking about spiritual hunger years, the church should be the place where the people will come for bread, spiritual bread. Because the hunger on the land will be really strong for God. And who can give? Just whoever have. If the church has knowledge, has gifts from the Spirit, and the church will be able to give to those hunger people. If Joseph were not collecting, the people were coming, they were not able to sell them nothing because they were not having nothing. The same as Jesus said about the 5 foolish brides and the 5 smart. The 5 that were smart, they were ready for the groom to come. Them candles were on with oil. We cannot wait for the last moment and then just to start to collect. It will be too late. Why you didn't thought about this before? And I see how God showing me what we did in all those 6 years and what we should do in the next year, the one that's coming right now. You know, when you don't have this open from God, I didn't see it. And just now when He opened my eyes and He showed me, I can look back and I see what we did in all those 6 years. Every year God gave us some way and where to go, where we're going, what we should build. And this is really amazing that in those 6 years we collected so much. And whenever this abundance year will finish, it will be hunger of spirit. I'm sure that we will have what to feed, what to share and what to give as a church to another nation, to the body of the Christ, to people who will come from this world, and we will have what to give and to share with them, the salvation, the knowledge of God. And in the end of this meeting, I have some prophetic act that we're gonna do, and I want that each of you will take something to your house today, but I will talk about this in the end. I'm really thankful that God always making us ready for everything. Whenever we want that our kids will pass the test in the school, we are sitting with them, we are trying for them to learn everything, to remember everything, for them to pass the test that they have. And I feel that now God doing exactly the same with us, for us to be ready for any time that's coming, for us to have all the instruments and everything, for us not to be hungry and to feed another people. And I'm really thankful that this year is coming now. I took this pomegranate, and we have this symbolic for this year. Each of us should understand what God telling you to collect in this year, because to each of us God can say another things, but as a church we all going into this year of abundance. But this is not what we're going to talk about today. This was just prophetic word for the next year, the 1 year that's coming right now. And this holiday that's coming now, it's going to be 3 days of Rosh Hashanah. We will now have some meetings here, so I'm really asking you guys, celebrate this holiday. I'm really telling you, spend a good time with your family, with your people around in those days. Make this to be a special days for you. Don't wait for the holidays just to rest and to sleep all day. Celebrate what we have. So we're going to talk about our message for today. So as I said, our message today called The Expanding of the Apostolic Spirit. As you remember, we were talking about the height of this spirit. We talked about the deepness of this spirit. Today we're going to talk about the width of this spirit. And this spirit, apostolic, also have a time dimension. It has 4 dimensions. This is what God opened for me, and He always showing me one more part about this, where we should go deeper, and today we're going to open this more. As more we understand our way, you can say, but I'm no apostle, what I need to know it. But if you are part of this church, apostolic and prophetic, so you already here, there is no way back. It's covering you too, and you are part of this. So many people think like this, I'm no prophet, I'm no apostle. And today I want to give you 3 keys for this season. And it's gonna be 3 keys for the expansion of the apostolic spirit. Let's open the book, the 2nd of Timotheus, chapter 2, from sentence 20 to 21. In a large house there are articles not only of gold and silver, but also of wood and clay. Some are special purposes, and some for common use. Those who clean themselves with the latter will be instruments for special purposes, made holy, useful to the master, and prepared to do any good work. So in any house there are some articles that are really dishes that they are using them for good and respectful purposes, and some dishes that they are made of another kind of material, not silver, maybe not gold, some wood or clay, that they are worth less, so they are using them for another purposes, for another thing, that they are less respectful. The Bible saying that we are the dishes, the instruments of God. And here Paul saying some really beautiful example, that big house is the church. There are different kind of dishes, of instruments, that it's us. Some of them are for very respectful things, and some of them for less. As we know, in a big rich houses, the dishes were made of silver or gold or some another expensive metals, and they were useful for some respectful purposes. For example, when there is a good guest coming, or some rich person, or a rich food. And another dishes they were before using for, things that are made of not so expensive material, like clay and wood or something else, some cheap material. and they were using them as a can of the trash or the restrooms in the houses. So as the Apostle Paul said, there are some expensive dishes that they are using them for good things, and some dishes that they are using them for less good works, like, restroom, like trash. This book that we were reading now from, it's one of the letters that he wrote to his student Timothy, and he wanted to explain him to serve God. And the way he writing this to him, he is explaining him and giving him some examples as we read right now. And now I will try to explain you guys in our words. Imagine now I'm writing a message in the WhatsApp to some good student of me from here. My dear, in our church, we have really cool servers. They are instruments of God. They are made of gold. God using them for the best works. He is using them for the most respectful things that He need. But there are some other that they are made of clay. They are not made of silver and some expensive materials, or made of plastic. And those people are collecting trash all the time. But you hold yourself in the clean way. Don't be dirty like those clay dishes. As it was clear for you guys, this is exactly the same as Paul said to Timothy, his student. It sounds really bad, right? But unfortunately, it's kind of true. In every church almost, there is some people that they like to collect trash, to gossip, to say some things that there are rumors about someone, about something. And you are looking at him, he is also in the big house, he is also a dishes, he is also an instrument, but he likes to serve those low things. Why is coming to the church? It looks like he's just throwing away from him things, the trash he has. And I want to talk a little bit about this trash. This is not so good message, it's not so nice message today. But God tell me to say to you guys, listen, sometimes we are part of some conversation, some dialogue, and we even don't know that we are as a gold dishes. Imagine you have in the house some really expensive instrument made of gold, and suddenly I'm coming and I'm telling him, listen, can I throw some trash inside your gold dishes? You gonna tell me, are you crazy? You know how expensive this instrument is? Just when the king or someone very rich coming, I'm giving him to eat from this. Look, there is the clay trash or the plastic trash there. Throw it right there. And imagine that each of us, it's in the eyes of God, we need to be as those gold dishes or silver that God already cleaned. And He put it for the highest work. In His eyes we are gold. And He already cleaned us. And imagine that sometimes we are by ourselves becoming to be some clay instrument, because we are putting ourselves inside all this mess, and we are taking all this trash inside us, all this information, some gossip, rumors, that someone want to tell us something bad about someone else. Listen, it's not here, of course, I'm not talking about our church, maybe right there. Here everyone are gold, right? One is more gold than the other. I'm coming to the church and that's it. My eyes are blind from the goldness that we have here. But there are some big other houses, some churches, where there are some trashes, some clay dishes, and some wood dishes. Let's take it today, this question. If I'm an instrument of God, what kind of instrument I am? If I know I'm already clean, God already cleaned me. He took me as a gold instrument for God. Don't let someone else to destroy this goldness, this cleanness that you have inside yourself. Don't make him to make you dirty. Don't take part of these gossips. Don't take part of some rumors or some dialogues that about someone or about something. Even something, sometimes a person doesn't understand how by mistake how he went inside some conversation, someone called him another brother, some told him gossip about someone else, and you are becoming to be part of some history that even though you don't know how you found yourself right there. So analyze yourself and check if you're finding yourself in some situations like this and don't let it happen. To be for the respectful persons. Has Paul writing here that the owner of the house want to use those gold dishes. Many people are asking me, Pastor, why God doesn't using me? I'm sure that some of you are half gold and half wood, because it cannot be that God will take a clay instrument and he will put him for the most respectful work in his house. He doesn't like it. Or imagine someone is a very wood instrument in his house, in his work, in his life, but when he is coming to the church, he putting some gold cover, and then it's becoming to be like a really cheap plastic instrument that covered with gold color. Everything that has cover of gold on him, gold doesn't mean that it's gold. So sometimes, wow, gold! Look, imagine how beautiful. But this is not actually gold inside. It's just color in the cover. And also many clay instruments can be colored with gold. But when you're finding what is inside there, you're finding out what is the real thing contained. And if we have this apostolic spirit inside us, we cannot be those instruments that they are colored with gold in the cover on the top, but we are actually clay inside. If I'm an instrument, which kind of instrument I am? What I'm made of? Am I a cheap material instrument, or am actually very expensive material that's made of gold or silver? So this was the first key. Check which kind of material instrument you are. What kind of instrument you are. The apostolic spirit is the base of all the church. So this is very important key that we have to go into this new year with this. We are keep going to the second key. Let's open Matthew number 9, sentence 36 to 38. When he saw the crowd, he had compassion on them, because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field." So the second key is to pray for the harvest, Lord. Jesus saying very serious words about to pray about this. Who is the Lord of the harvest and how to pray for him? Why Jesus saying to do it? Why saying that there is a lot of harvest and no many workers? You know, today the church started to be stuck inside the walls of the church, and today we're meeting inside the church people that doesn't understand that out there are so many harvest, so much harvest. But what the church today doing? Instead of to grow the workers that gonna collect the harvest outside, instead of this, they are praying for each other inside the church, they are serving each other inside the church. But I have a question. If we have relationship with the Lord of the harvest, who is? It's Jesus. He's saying, look, there is a lot of harvest, but I don't have enough churches, I don't have enough workers, I don't have enough people that gonna go out of those walls of the church, and they gonna serve and they gonna collect the harvest outside, because there is a lot of people who need salvation. But the workers that want to do it, they are few. You know why there are no? Here in the 36th sentence, we can see the answer. The sentence starting with the words like this: when he saw the crowd, he had compassion on them. Why he had this feeling on them? Why they were so poor? Why he was feeling for them like this? And then the sentence continues and says, he saw them helpless, and they were like sheep without a shepherd. This is why he was compassion for them. Those people didn't know. who is God, and they didn't know that He can collect them to be together under His wings. Because when the pastor collecting his sheep, he taking care of them, he is growing them, he is healing them, he is doing everything for them. Because the most important for him is to take care of them. Pastor, it's his work to take care of his sheep. Yes, I'm also saying to those pastors who are watching us, this is your work to take care of your sheep. And here he was compassion for them, because when sheep doesn't have a leader, no one taking care of them, you know what? Let's not go too far. Let's look at Israel. Now we have Rosh Hashanah, soon Yom Kippur. Look at our people here in Israel. You know what? Let's not talk about the world. Let's not talk about another countries. Look at Israel. They are like sheep without shepherd. You know why? Because we don't have this compassion for them. We don't see this crowd that doesn't have where to go. They're going to the hell. They're just going to die. We don't have this heart like Jesus had. He felt so bad for those people. He had mercy for them. The biggest problem here is this, that we don't care anymore. We are no compassion about people that going to nowhere. But you know what? How amazing. We are all here together. Thanks God. Look, we are in the church. We are all blessing so much each other. But let's go outside of here. Let's see what is going on there. The sheep that are lost. I'm sure that each of us has so many people around them that they are necessary to be with God. We just need to look with the eyes of Jesus, to have compassion for those people, and then we will not think even twice. We're just gonna act and do it, to help them, to bring them to God, to the main pastor of the world, not to the church, but to Him. He is the Lord of the harvest. Today the church have to build it again. Those two things, the relationship with the Lord of the harvest and the pray for Him. The praise for the Lord of the harvest, it's not a pray about your life, about blessing that you want in your life, about things that you need in your life. God bless me, I'm doing so much for you, look at the harvest, give me the harvest for me to collect and then to get some gifts from you, look at my bank, I have a minus there. God, I need to cover this, you are the Lord of the harvest, no? Send to me some things to do, what? And we really need to pray like Jesus asked us to do. He asked for us to pray for more workers to collect the harvest. Why always I'm talking about that in our church, Apostolic-Prophetic church, should raise up more students. You know, in our church we have many people who are coming and going. Some people who want just to see. Some people just want to come once a year or once a 2 months just to meet with us sometimes, to be like a guest. You know, guest is good, but actually just a person who came, checked me and left. He cannot be part of the family. He cannot take my family name. He is the beginning of him. He's just a guest. He's just a temporary person who coming in my house and living. And when I'm looking at the church, I don't see that in the church. You know, it can be that people can come to visit, it's amazing. But my mission is to grow up people here, students, and not just people to come to sit on the chair and to live. We need people that gonna work for God, that actually gonna live for this, and each of us should want to raise up as a server of God, as a worker of God, and to raise up another people. And this is what we should do, to pray for the Lord of the harvest. Jesus giving us in this season for to open more this spirit of the apostle, for us to open in our praise the relationship with the Lord of the harvest. We are not collecting our harvest, it's His harvest. We are just part of His mission, because unfortunately many people thinking that they are doing this for themselves. I want to do everything, the acts of God, to be part of this for Him. You know, today people are thinking that if you're gonna sit in your house, don't do nothing, you just need to enjoy from God, right? Why we need to work? Why you need to serve? Just calm down, sit. He loves you, you love Him, everything is amazing. That's it. What is the difference? Who is going where? The most important that I know God and He knows me, and that's it. Everything is good. You know, I was listening to some pastor really a long time ago. He said some vision that he had, and in his vision he was going in the elevator. It was 2 elevators or few. Some of them were going up and some of them were going down. And he was on the one that going down. And so many people going with him on this one down. The elevator was full. And then on the other side, he see another elevator that going up. And there he saw some believer that he also was preaching a lot, he was serving a lot, and he was saying him hello, and that's it. He didn't saw him anymore. He went up, and he kept going down with his elevator, and many people around him, people he knows, people from his family, his friends, some people from the church. And then he woke up, and he's like, what was this dream? God, explain me. And then God told him, he didn't understood what you saw right now. And then God explained him that everyone who was with him in the elevator going down to the hell, and just the only one in the other elevator, the pastor or the prophet that he saw there, the one going up, is the only one who will be salved for this moment. Sounds funny for you guys? No, it's really serious and sad. Since then I really see 2 elevators. This dream of him, this vision of him really came to my mind a lot. Imagine how many people going in the elevator down every day, and some going up. And when we really care about those people who are going to the hell, we will remember this elevator, and this feeling will come to us, this mercy. We will see those people who doesn't have salvation with the Jesus eyes, like a sheep without a shepherd. Maybe today will save someone. So this was the second key for this apostolic spirit, to release the relationship with the Lord of the harvest, and to start to pray for more workers to go out to collect the harvest for the Lord. Let's go to the third key. This is a tough one. You will not like it. You know, actually I will tell you this. Apostolic messages, you will not like it never. The messages of Peter, the apostle, or Paul, it sounds really serious. He's saying to them how to come to you with love or to hit you already. And in all those messages, you really can see that they were very tough messages, because the apostles were doing this job, the work for God, that they were telling to people how to do and what not to do, because God were not happy with some of those things that they were doing. What the apostles always want from us, and what the prophets want from us all the time. You know, there you listening to messages, everything is amazing, enjoy with the life that you have with God. But you know what? As apostle, I will go against all those amazing messages that they have today in the Christianity. The apostles were not doing the same like today. They were saying the truth for us to change, not for us to feel like we are perfect. So right now, let's open Matthew 19, sentence 11 to 12. Jesus replied, "Not everyone can accept those words, but only those to whom it has been given. For there are neuters who were born that way, and there are neuters who were being made neuter by others, and there are those who choose to live like neuter, for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. The one who can accept this should accept it." Look, here we can see why we should have the width of the apostolic spirit, to contain it, because if you will not have enough place for this, you will not be able to contain. So what Jesus is talking here about? So first, let's understand what is the word neuter. Who were those people? So next to the gates of the king's castles were people who were serving the king. They were born like this, or they were choosing to be those people who cannot have kids, and they were not able to have intimate acts. The most important mission of those people was to secure the bride. They were very loyal for the king. They were taking away from them all the options to enjoy intimate things for to be loyal enough for the king. Jesus were not talking about physical neuter. He was talking about people who were born anointed by God. And there are other people who got the anointed through people when they were already adults. And there were people who were doing this to themselves. They cleaned themselves completely. They took away from them everything that were making them to be enjoyed or to sin, everything for to serve the Lord. Those are three ways of anointed people. Were born, someone else anointed them, or someone that chose to be this. Those people who were born like this, they were really created, were born for this mission since the beginning, since them childhood. In the Bible we can see it on Gideon, on Samuel, Samson, and also many of us, that some of us really anointed by God since we were child. On those people you really can see gifts of the Spirit, some things that God really put inside them for them to serve since they were child. Some other people that they got this from someone else that blessed them to be anointed to God. They accepted so high level of anointed, they reject many things that they could have in their life just for to be loyal to the king, to serve the Lord. People who castrated themselves, rejected from everything for to serve the Lord with full heart. This is why those castrated people that they were working for the kings in the castle, they were taking care of the bride. They were so loyal to the king because the king knew and trusted them, because they were not able to do nothing to the bride but just to take care and to secure her. They were not having the ambitions to nothing to do with her because they were not able to have intimate situations with women. So those are the three kinds of ways to anoint a person, or for him to be anointed by themselves, or someone who were anointed since he was a child. For me, I know that I was anointed by myself to God, because no one never anointed me for him. For to secure the bride, today God looking for those people who are castored for him. People who doing everything for him and doesn't want to win nothing from this. They just doing this from all his heart. You know, I can say now something really rude, but there are some pastors or people who are standing in the head of the bride, in the head of the church, and because they are not castored, they are just raping the bride with a way that God doesn't like, and he is hating this. They are doing this just to win some respect, something from this, instead of to give the glory for God. Today I believe that in the body of the Christ, people are raising up, that they are castored and gave everything to serve God in their life. This is the highest level of anointed. This is the spirit of the apostle that we should have. Imagine the apostles when they were giving them money to them legs, some students of them. Imagine that instead of telling to those people, no, you guys are serving God, not us, so don't give this money to us. We are just the apostles of God. Imagine if instead of what they were saying now, they were saying, yeah, give it to us. We want this because we are God and we serving ourselves, and you guys should give us everything. Imagine if they were not having this spiritual apostle. They were taking this to themselves. Instead of this, they were selling them houses and they were giving everything. They were not castored for God. They were not anointed by God. They were taking this everything to themselves. Imagine how disaster it was till today. And it's really sad because there are some people today who are serving God, but actually they are serving themselves because they are enjoying from all these gifts that the servers of them are giving them. And instead of giving this to God and to give the respect and the glory to God, they are giving this to themselves. They taking this to themselves. This is one of the ways how someone can rape the church instead of to serve God. All the apostles were castored for God. This is why they gave the testimony of God, And this is why they raise up a bride that till today we are believing and following God. They brought the kingness of God to the land. For us to grow in the spirit of the apostle, as we said, the first one was to be the gold, clean dishes, instruments of God for the highest level of respectful works of the owner, and not to be the trash can. The second one is to build a relationship with the Lord of the harvest and to pray for more workers for Him. Since this new year, to pray more about this, for people to be sent to work for Him. The third one is the anointed, the high level of the anointed, the castor people who gave everything for God. You know that no one can force someone else to give and to be anointed for something. God doesn't doing this to us. But I know that many people who doing this, here in this church, they got this anointed by me to them to sacrifice everything that they have for serving God in their life. This is the moment when a person understanding his mission, his function in the life of God, where he should go and what he should do for Him. Today I know that God's calling to people that were able to live in this apostolic spirit. And He is calling us to go into this new year, practice those things, and to live in this year with this spirit of the apostle, to grow in this more and more from day to day for God.